Hello and welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a limited set review of Spider-Man in paper and the Through the Omenpaths 1. I will be showing both the Spider-Man card and the Through the Omenpaths card. I'll be saying both their names for the first part, and then while I'm referring to the card more and more, I'll be using the Spider-Man paper version. That's what I'll use more. Alright, so the rating scale here is 0 to 5. The rating scale, 0 is a terrible card. I will never play this under any circumstance. I will play a basic land over it. 0.5 is kind of basically the same. 1 is like, if I had to play it, it's a playable, but I'm not happy about it. 1.5 is also like, I'm not super happy, but it's like, it's fine. 2 is like, it's a filler card. If it fills out my curve, great. I'd play it. 2.5 is like, this card's pretty good. It's not a reason to play the color, but if I'm in that color, it's usually gonna be pretty good to play. 3 is like, it's a good card. It's a reason to be in that color. 3.5 is like even better. It's like really, really good, like top of the cards. A 4 and above is like bomb level. A 5 is like, I cast this card, I win the game. That's what a 5 is. All right, first up here, we have Peter Parker, or Surus Spider Silk Innovator. It's a 2-mana 0/1. When it enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Transform Peter Parker, for Banton 1, only as a sorcery. Okay. Let's see what the backside is. The backside is Amazing Spider-Man or Surus Silk Tech Vanguard. It is 4 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. Each legendary spell you cast that's 1 or more colors has Web Slinging for Bant. Okay, I really like the backside. I think it's a really good rate, and having Vigilance and Reach means it's really good on both offense and defense. Having, like, web slinging as like 3 colors can be kind of a lot, but like if you have a really good thing to keep bouncing, like, and you like have a good way that like to tap it or keep attacking with it, then it can be really good. But I think at base here, this backside is a 4 mana 4/4 Vigilance Reach. But I like the option value of also having Peter Parker. It's a 2 mana 0/1 that makes a 2/1 as well. So it's 2 mana for basically 2/2 worth of stats. And then when Peter Parker gets outsized, or when you get the mana to transform him, he can get transformed. So I think on a scale of 1 to 5, I think Peter Parker, I would give, I'd probably give Peter Parker, I would probably say a 3. I think it's really good early, and it's pretty good late, which I think is very needed for a limited card. You don't know when you're going to draw it in a game of limited. Early in the game, 2 mana 2/1 is not bad. And also having an 0/1, that could be a chump blocker. And then if you have the Banton 1 mana, a 4/4 Vigilance Reach is also very good. It could also be very good to like transform Peter Parker and attack with the 4/4 right away. Which could just push some damage through, which might be needed. So, yeah, I think I'd give Peter Parker a 3. All right, we've got Eddie Brock. 2 and a black for a 3/3. And then his Through the Omenpaths is Vigo, Enforcer of Aegis Crossing. Or Eggs Crossing, I don't know. When Eddie Brock enters, return target creature card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. It can return a Llanowar Elves. And then for Jundin 3, you can transform him, or you can cast the backside for Jundin 3. And it becomes Venom, Lethal Protector, or Vigo, End of Eggs Crossing. It's a 5/5 Menace, Trample, Haste. When Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw X cards. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is a sacrificed creature's mana value. Okay. I like this card. It could be really good for sack outlets if you have things that have death triggers. You can play it, attack, sack a thing, draw cards, and put a thing onto the battlefield. which could be really good. Like you sack just like this random 2-drop, and you draw 2 cards. Maybe you don't put anything onto the battlefield, but you could also just put an extra land onto the battlefield. I mean, at 6 lands, you probably don't need that, but like it's still really good. And also, a 5/5 menace and trample and haste, so it can attack right away, is large and quite possibly in charge. And the front side is usually going to be a 3-mana 3/3. I don't know how many times it's going to return a creature card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It might happen, but I don't think there's going to be very many in limited. There generally isn't. But I think the backside is really where it's at. Needing 3 colors is like kind of a steep cost, but once you get there, it's really good. So I might say I'd probably give this like a 3 as well. I think if you can get the Jund to cast Venom, it's really good. But I think Eddie Brock being just a 3-mana 3/3 is like kind of underwhelming nowadays, which is kind of weird to say. So yeah, Eddie Brock I would give a 3. Alright. Damage Control Crew or Celestia Archivist. It's 4-mana 3/3. When this creature enters, choose 1. Return target creature with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand, or exile target artifact or enchantment. I like this card a lot. Green and red are about playing big things. I mean, green and red, and like, big things are the things you want to get back from your graveyard, or if you discarded them early on, because there's the mayhem mechanic, and like things that want you to discard, then getting it back later could be really good with this card. And there is like some like pretty terrifying artifact and enchantments. There's the white Banishing Light type of card this could be really good at dealing with. A 4-mana 3/3 at base rate isn't amazing. But I mean, I think it's fine. I think it really shines in green-red. So I'd probably give this like a 2.5. I think it's fine. I think it's decent. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's decent. All right, Ezekiel Sims, Spider Totem. 4 and a green for 3/5 reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target spider you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Note that Ezekiel Sims is also a spider. And then his Through the Omenpaths version is Oris, Last of the Web Lords. So I think this card could be really good. I mean, it's definitely expensive, but like it being a 5/7 on attack is like, it's so large. Like it's really hard for things to deal with it. And also the fact that like if it comes in and you can give another spider, because there's a lot of spiders in the set. Shocker, it's the Spider-Man set. So I think this card is really good. I would probably rate this 3.5, especially normally like it being expensive is kind of a downside, and it might be a little bit, but in especially green and red, having things that cost 4 or more is really good and very synergistic. So yeah, I think I'd give this a 3.5. Grow Extra Arms. This is the same name on both the Through the Omenpaths and the Spider-Man version. I think the art on the paper one is especially funny. And it's 1 and a green instant. It costs 1 less to cast if it targets a spider. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. This could be pretty good to like save a creature, or like that gets like double blocked by a bunch of things and like kill a bunch of things. Not giving any like trample or anything like that makes it so like sometimes you make something really big but it doesn't actually deal any extra damage to the opponent unless you do it on an unblocked creature. I think it's like a mediocre combat trick. It costing 1 mana on a spider is definitely pretty good, because 1 mana is just so much easier to hold up than 2 mana generally in limited or really anything. But overall, I don't think this is like kind of underwhelming, so I'd probably give it a 2. All right, Guy in the Chair or eccentric arachnologist. Dan the Chair is definitely the better name, but it's just so funny. 2 and a green, 2/3. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Web support, 2 and a green, tap. Put a +1/+1 counter on target spider. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay. I think this is really good, especially because of the green big things. I've been seeing a lot of that. There's also, like, if you go green-white, there's kind of a modified creatures theme, and putting counters on things helps with that, even if it only puts it on spiders. I think this is the type of card it's good early to ramp you, but it's also good in the late game to make your spiders bigger. So I'd probably give this a 3. I'd want to play this card in any green deck. Kapow, or Perilous Lunge. Those are both nice. 3 mana for 2 and a green for a sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It bites target creature an opponent controls. Pretty simple removal. I think it's very good, especially putting a counter on a thing. I'd probably give it a 3.5. Good removal. Probably one of the top green commons. Yeah. Craven's Cats, or Cruel Caracals. 1 and a green for a 2/2. Spend 2 and a green. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn. It's a bear with a little bit of upside, but only being able to activate it once each turn is, like, not great. I'd probably give this a 1.5. I'm not super excited about playing this card. Craven's Last Hunt, or a Trail of Teacups. It's a saga for a 3 and a green. Chapter 1, mill 5 cards. When you do, this saga deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard to target creature. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand for Chapter 3. Okay. So Chapter 1 can be is generally going to be removal. Chapter 2 can make something big to attack, like if you have a big trample thing. That's really good. And then Chapter 3 gets something back. I think this card is very strong. I think I'd probably give this a 4. It's removal that also gets you card advantage. So yeah, I think I'd give this a 4. Lizard, Connor's Curse, or King of the Cold Blood Curse. 2 green for a 5/5 trample. Already great. When Lizard, Connor's Curse enters, until one other target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green lizard creature with base power and toughness 4/4. This is even more upside. You can either make one of your smaller creatures bigger, if it doesn't do anything, great, it just made it a 4/4. Or if your opponent has like a really big thing or something with scary abilities, you can make it a 4/4. And a 4/4 is still smaller than the actual card itself. This card seems fantastic. It's 4 mana 5/5 trample with upside. I'd probably give this a 4.5. This could be one of the best green cards we see today. All right, Lurking Lizards. This is the same for Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. It's 1 and a green for a 1/3 with trample. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. I like it. It has trample, so as it grows, it will continue to do a ton of damage. Obviously there's going to be a good number of cards with mana value 4 or greater that will allow this to trigger. I think it's a very good playable card. I'd probably give it a 3. Miles Morales, or Kren, Undercity Dreamer. 1 and a green for 1/2. When Miles Morales enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And then for 9 and 3, you can transform him, or you can cast the backside for 9 and 3. And the backside is Ultimate Spider-Man, or Kren of the Spider Brood. It's a 6 mana 4/3, first strike haste. You can spend 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on Ultimate Spider-Man. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. I think this card's great. 6 mana 4/3 first strike haste, and its base rate isn't amazing. But being able to spend 2 mana and give him hexproof, even if he didn't get a counter, I think that's still pretty underrated for how good it can be, just to protect him. And the front side, Miles Morales, putting a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creature is really good for 2 mana. So he's a 2 mana 2/3 at base. And then if you have another creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on that other creature. I'd probably give this card a 4. I'm really happy to play this card. All right, Pictures of Spider-Man or Ancestral Carvings. 2 and a green, artifact. When this artifact enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them and put them into your hands. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then you can spend 1 and tap, sack this artifact to create a treasure token. So it's like later on it can help as fixing. That part's like kind of underwhelming, but like looking at the top 5 and putting up to 2 creature cards in your hand, it's pretty good. You have to be creature dense enough to hit. Like if you have, like let's say you have 16 creatures, you're about, quick math here, in 5 cards of 30, that's 1/6. 16 is like a little under half. You're like 80% to hit like 2 creatures about. I don't know. That's just like an estimation. I think it's pretty good. I think it's amazing, but I think like the card advantage, especially when you're in green, like having an ability to go into the late game can be very strong. So I'd probably give this card a 3. Professional Wrestler or Favored Fighter. 3 and a green for a 4/4. When this creature enters, create a treasure token. This creature can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So it's got anti-menace. 4 mana 4/4 that makes a treasure token is great. And not being able to double block means it's a lot harder to block and kill it. I think this card's great. I'd probably give it a 3. Radioactive Spider or Fate Weaver. Green for a 1/1, reach death touch. Fateful Bite. 2 mana, sack this creature, search your library for a spider hero card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Only as a sorcery. I think it's pretty good. Like a 1 mana 1/1, reach death touch. It will be like, it could be aggressive early on, just like pinging them, and then it can hold a lot of their board back, but they're like, I don't want to trade with the 1/1. And then later on too, if it's like, well, maybe you like blocked and like you're not super excited about what it's killing or something, and you have like a really good spider hero card. There's like a decent amount of spider heroes in this set. Then you can like search that up. So I'd probably give this card a 3.5. I think it could be super good. All right, Sandman, Shifting Scoundrel, or the Scouring Storm Soul. 1 green for a star. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. 5 mana, return this card and target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Oh, that's really nice. I mean, you're not that often going to have land cards in your graveyard, but being able to like just keep getting it back. I think this card is super strong. I'd probably give it like a 4.5, maybe a 4, just because it doesn't have like trample or anything. But like not being able to get chump blocked is pretty good. So it's definitely between a 4 and a 4.5. No, it's probably still a 4.5. Because like you can just like chump with the 1/1s that you have. I think this card's really, really good. Green's had some banger of cards. All right, Scout the City. Same name on Through the Omenpaths and Spider-Man. 1 and a green. Choose 1. Look around or bring them down. Look around. Mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand. You gain 3 life. Okay, pretty good. Bring down. Destroy target creature with flying. Okay, that's not going to come up as often, but it still could come up. I think it's mainly for the 2 mana, mill 3, put a permanent card from among them into your hand, and then gain 3 life. The gain 3 life is not irrelevant, and there's definitely like a little bit of like having cards in graveyard and like stuff, especially in green-black, even though like green-black isn't necessarily one of the dual color combos of the set because there's only the ILAD ones. I think this card's fine. I think it's a fine filler. I'd probably give it a 2. Spider-Ham, Peter Porker, or Terran Tusk Unwisely Awoken. 1 and a green for a 2/2. When Spider-Ham enters, create a food token, and then other Spiders, boars, bats, bears, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. It's definitely interesting how the order on here, it starts with spiders and then goes alphabetical instead of putting spiders where it should be in the alphabetical order. Because spiders are just like the most common of the set, so they don't want it to be missed, I think. But no, that's really, really, I think it's really good. It will pump like a lot of the things in this set. And a 2-mana 2/2 makes a food is decent. And like, you really can just like pump a lot of the things that you get. So I'd probably give this card a 3.5. I think it's pretty strong. Spider-Man, Brooklyn Visionary, or Zan, Tunnel Web Explorer. 4 and a green for a 4/3. It has web slinging for 2 and a green. Web slinging means you can cast a spell for its web slinging cost. If you do, also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. And then when Spider-Man enters, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This is like fine. 5 mana getting a land is like kind of expensive. At 5 mana, you don't really have much of a use for as much more mana. I mean, I guess in green there are like a little bit more big things, but it's still not great. I think it might be needed if you're going 3 colors. But I think, like, generally it's not going to be super amazing. So I'd probably give this card a 2. Alright. Spider-Rex, Daring Dino. Or Chizak, Apex Arachnosaur. 4 green, 6/6. Reach, trample, ward 2. Seems great. Great on rate, big, hard to deal with. I'd probably give it a 3.5. I think it's very strong. Spiders Man, Heroic Horde, spiders plural, or the Clutter Cluster. 1 and a green for a 2/3. It has web slinging for 6 mana. When Spiders Man enters, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2/1 green spider creature tokens with reach. This is really good. Early on, it can be a 2 mana 2/3, which is like already really good on rate. And then later on, like bouncing something and then making a 2/3 and 2/2/1s and like them being spiders and there's things that like pump spiders, like all of them. I think this card is very good. I'd probably give it a 3.5. Strength of Will. This is the same name on both Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. 1 and a green, instant. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains indestructible, and whenever this creature is dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. And this card is really good. It's like somewhat situational. It's not great if like your thing is being blocked. Like if you're using it on like a 3/3 and they're like blocking with their own 3/3. I mean, it becoming a 6/6 is still good, but it's not as good as like putting it on a trample thing. Like this is where this card really wants to be used, is on a creature with trample. But I think it's really good. It's really good combat track. It's really good. And if it can save something if like there's some of the red burn spells that like deal 4 damage to a creature. It will save it from that. So I'd probably give this card a 3.5. I think it's really good. It might not always have a use, but I think when it does, it's really good. Supportive Parents. This is the same on Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. 2 and a green, 3/3. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Okay, so it's kind of fixing. It's less ramp because like you need to have more creatures, but it's really good with end web if you have like a really good thing that you want to be bouncing, but you don't have. But it doesn't have a good attack, so it doesn't want to like tap to attack, but you still want to return it. So it could be pretty good for there. And like if you're going 3 colors, it could be pretty good. But I think in general, I'm not like. I don't need this card that much, so I'd probably give it like a 2. Terrific Team Up. Same in Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. 3 and a green, instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater. Okay. And that so if you have big things, it's 2 mana. And then one or two target creatures you control each get +1/+0 until end of turn. They each deal damage equal to the power to target creature and opponent controls. Great, this is removal. It's 4 mana, remove something, and it's a bite, not a fight, so it's even better. And then if you have a big thing, then it's 2 mana, kill something. This is probably the best green uncommon. I'm gonna give it a 4. It's really good. Wall Crawl, or Rouse the Storm. 3 and a green, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Then you gain 1 life for each spider you control. Spiders you control get +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with Defender. I think this card's pretty good. I mean, you definitely want to have a decent number of spiders to make it work. But, like, as we've seen, especially in green, there is, like, a lot of spiders. So, like, you might just accidentally be hitting, like, 10 spiders in your deck and you don't know it. And, like, it's a 4 mana 3/2 that gains a life when it enters. And it can have additional upside. So, I like this card a lot. I'd probably give it a 3. Web of Life and Destiny, or Through the Omenpaths. I like that the Through the Omenpaths version of it is the, like, namesake. That's pretty cool. And, I mean, it makes sense. This card is big. 6 and 2 green for an enchantment. It has Convoke, so that helps it get out a little bit earlier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This card, I think, is really good. It's expensive, but the fact that you can tap your creatures to get it out there, and then it just gives you the long game. Like, your opponent can just sit there, but then you're just gonna keep getting creatures. So I like this card a lot. I think if you can cast it, it's really, really good. I'd probably give it a 4. If it didn't have Convoke, it'd be a lot worse. But the fact that it has Convoke means that you can probably reliably get it out on, like, turn 6. So I'd give this card a 4. Cheering Crowd. Same for Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. 1, and then a green-red hybrid for a 2/2. At the beginning of each player's first main phase, that player may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. If they do, they add a colorless for each counter on it. Interesting. So, like, your opponent can put a counter on it and make it bigger. But then they would get, like, some mana to help ramp them. But, like, it's even better for you to ramp. And then you get more mana then because, like, green-red is casting big things. I think overall this card is really good. I mean, even if it ramps your opponent, you can just keep growing it every single turn. And it just gets so large, and you get so much mana from it. I think this card is fantastic. I'd probably give it a 4.5. Ooh, Cosmic Spider-Man, or Scions of the Earth Spider. It's Wooburg for a 5/5. It has flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, haste. It's all about the 5s. At the beginning of combat on your turn, other spiders you control gain flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. So, this card is Wooburg. It's very difficult to cast. If you cast it, though, and it doesn't die, you are likely to win the game. I think the cost of it being Wooburg is too high, so I am going to give it a 1. But if you have the fixing for it, and you have enough spiders, like, I would say definitely play it. I might just, like, pick one this in a draft. If I open it in a sealed, and, like, maybe I'll play it, maybe not. It really depends how much. There are the dual lands, but I think just the casting cost is so hard, I'd give it a 1. But if you can cast it, it's really fun. Gallant Citizen. Same on Spider-Man and Through the Omenpaths. It's 2 green-white hybrids for a 1/1. When it enters, draw a card. So it's like a harder to cast Elvish Visionary, but worse because it's not an elf. Obviously. I still think it's great. I would give it a 3. Elvish Visionary is known for being a great card. And even though the casting cost is, like, kind of difficult, I think it's still pretty good. So I'd give it a 3. Jackal, Genius Geneticist, or Druneth, Reviver of the Hive. Simic for a 1/1, trample. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value equal to Jackal's power, copy that spell, except the copy isn't legendary. Then put a +1/+1 counter on Jackal. So the hard part about this is getting it started. casting a 1-drop. There's not that many 1-drops. But if you have a different way to pump Jackal, and then you cast a thing that of that mana value, then it's like can get really good. And once you get it to 2, you'll generally have another 2-drop to play, and then you'll have another, and then especially once it gets to 3, it's like really, really good. Simic not being one of the main archetypes in this set hurts it a little bit as well. But I mean, yeah, and it's like pretty difficult to cast. In sealed, you probably don't have to follow that as much. I think this card gets a lot worse in draft because then you're not having like a specific archetype unless you're going 3 colors, which drafting 3 colors is also generally a lot harder. I think this card is worse in draft than it is in sealed. It's one of those cards, even though like it's a cheap thing. I think this is kind of hard. I think generally it's just gonna be too slow to get going, and like you might even not have you cast a spell and it's not even that great to copy. I mean, it is nice to get like 2 creatures for casting 1 creature, but I'd probably still give this card a 1.5. Craven, Proud Predator, or Dreadfang, loathed by fans. 1 red-green for a star 4 vigilance. Its power is equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. So at the very least, it's a 3 mana 3/4 vigilance. And as the game goes later, it gets bigger. I mean, I think it's pretty strong. I'd probably give it a 3.5. I think it's definitely a reason to go green-red. Not that I need much of a reason to go green, but I think it's very strong. Now we have another Craven. This time it's Craven the Hunter, or Through the Omenpaths, Brocco, Heartless Hunter. 1 black-green for a 4/3 trample. Already amazing. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with the greatest power among creatures that player controls dies, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Craven the Hunter. I think this card is great. I mean, green-black isn't in the main colors for draft. I still think this card is very strong. 3 mana 4/3 trample on its own is really good. If you kill their biggest thing, which usually when you're using a removal spell, you want to kill their biggest thing. You draw a card for it, and Craven grows, and Craven has trample. I would give this card a 4. I think it's a reason to go black-green. For sure. Mary Jane Watson, or Demara, Soul of a Spider. 1 and then a green-white hybrid for 2/2. Whenever spider you control enters, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. This card is definitely very dependent on how many spiders you have in your deck. There are a lot of spiders in this set, like I've said before. So it is going to be you're generally going to have 6 spiders, especially in green-white deck. Green-white has more spider heroes, and black, red, blue. And red also has a decent amount of spiders. And then black and blue in particular have a lot more of the villains, and those aren't usually spider villains as much. So I think Mary Jane Watson could be very good, but I think she's still more of a built-around, so I'd probably give her a 2. But if you have a lot of spiders, she could be very strong. Card advantage is always good and limited. Rhino, Barreling Brute, or Zakao, Predator's Shadow. I don't know if that's how you say that first part, but maybe it is. 7 mana, 3, and then triple red, or 3 and then double red, double green for 6/7. So the casting cost is very mana intensive and color and pip intensive. But then you have a 6/7 Vigilance, Trample, Haste, and whenever Rhino attacks, if you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater this turn, draw a card. So almost always, you're going to spend 7 mana, get a 6/7, attack with it right away, draw a card. And then they have to figure out their blocks for it. And you're not even hurt by attacking it that much because you can still block with it if you're falling behind. The challenge is it's 7 mana. I still think this card is very strong. Red and green getting to 7 mana is not as big of an issue as a lot of other colors getting to 7 mana would be. So I'd probably give this card, I'd probably give it a solid 3.5. And I think if you have a lot of ramp, this card is just even better. Rhino's Rampage, same on Through the Omenpaths and Spider-Man. It's a green-red hybrid sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It bites target creature an opponent controls. When excess damage is dealt to the creature an opponent controls this way, destroy up to one target non-creature artifact with mana value 3 or less. I think this card's fine. The second part of, like, when the excess damage is dealt to the creature's controller, to the creature, like, it's not in limited. That's not going to be super relevant. There's not that many in this set. But it's still good removal, and giving the +1 power means it can kill more things. If it gave a +1/+1, this card would be, like, really, really good. But I'd still probably give it a 3. I think it's a very good card. Can play in either green or red, so it's pretty flexible in that regard. So, Scarlet Spider, Ben Rayleigh, or Boris the Spider Rider. 1 green-red for a 4/3, web slinging for green and a red. It has trample. And if Scarlet Spider was cast using web slinging, he enters with X +1/+1 counters on him, where X is the mana value of the returned creature. Okay. I could... This card seems good. 3 mana 4/3 trample. If it's just that, it's really good. If you bounce just a 2-drop, it's a 2... It's like... Well, not necessarily 2 mana. It's kind of like a 4 mana 6/5 trample. That's still good. I think this card just, it scales up in the late game. If you have mana, you can bounce a big thing and then replay the big thing, especially if it has a good ETB effect. I'd probably give this card a 4.5. It's definitely something, I open this, I'm like, I want to play Gruul, or at least splash one of those colors if I'm playing one of them. This card is really good. Silk Spider Weaver, a Lenny Brood Recruiter, or Lenny Brood Recruiter. 2 green-white for a 3/5. It has web slinging for 1 green and white. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token, and you can spend 5 mana to give creatures you control +2/+2 and vigilance. I think this card's great. 4 mana 3/5, already great blocker to help you stabilize. You cast creatures, you get more creatures, you make them big, and they have vigilance, so you're not worried about making an all-out attack, because then you still have blockers if they, like, just, like, don't block if you're getting low. So I think this card is really good. I'd probably give this card a 4. I'm really happy to open this and go green-white. Spider Manifestation, or Leyline Weaver. 1 and then a green-red hybrid for a 2/2 reach. Add a red or a green. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, untap this creature. I think this card's great. 2 mana dork, and then you can also, and so, like, you play it on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you play a 4-drop, you untap it and attack for 2, if they don't have a good blocker. I think this card's really good. I'd probably give it a 3.5. Spider Girl, Legacy Hero, or Janai and Hoppy, Roof Skippers. Green and a white for a 2/2. During your turn, Spider Girl has flying. When Spider Girl leaves the battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature tokens. I think this card's great. It can be really good at attacking, and it just leaves the battlefield. So it's a really good thing to web slinging. You play it on turn 2, you attack with it, and then you play a web slinging thing, and then you make a 1/1. And then you can recast it, and then when it leaves the battlefield, again, make a 1/1. I think this card is really strong. I'd probably give it a 3.5. Spider-Man India, or Alessos and Pros Acrobats. 3 green-white for a 4/4. It has web slinging for 1 green-white. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains flying until end of turn. I think this is great. I mean, you want to be creature heavy, but also web slinging means then you'll get the effect when you cast the creature that you just returned to your hand, if you wanted to pay the web slinging cost. And, like, giving something flying means you can, like, push through damage and be, like, really aggressive and make things bigger. I like this card a lot. I'd probably give it a 4. Web Warriors. 4 and then Diligent Web Keepers. 4 and then a green-white hybrid for a 4/3. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. I think this card's fine. I mean, you definitely, I'm definitely saying green-white wants to be very creature dense. You want to have a lot of creatures. I think if you do have a lot of creatures, though, this card can be, like, pretty strong. I'll probably give it, like, a 2.5. I think it's fine. And that is it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully now you'll go into your pre-release and other sealed events and playing on Arena with a little bit more knowledge as to the green cards of the Marvel Spider-Man set as slash Through the Omenpaths on Arena. Thank you so much, everybody. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye.